Welcome back to the Total Focus Podcast. I'm your host, Paul. Our special guest this week is Chelsea Torres. She is a former MRS, Maryland Earth USA title holder, and she is now the state director for Maryland, Delaware, and the Midatlantic states for Earth USA. So if you want the opportunity to compete in one of those states, I would highly recommend for you to stay tuned and really listen to how much experience and learn how much experience this young lady has and how much she wants you to succeed and how excited she is. So please stay tuned. And welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, it's always great to have a director come on into the show and talk about their pageant, especially a system that we haven't had on the show. So we really appreciate you coming on, talking about Miss Earth USA, and really talking about your system and telling us all what's so great about it. But we definitely want to hear about your story and how you got to be the director.
Well, first, I'm very honored to be the first. That's exciting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I would love as we move forward, I'd love to bring some of your colleagues on the show. So
I would definitely. I'm sure they would love to do that as well.
yeah.
How
So
I got to this.
yeah.
Oh,
So
sorry.
what brought you in the pageants? Were you a big pageant patty when you were younger, or did you do dance, or did you act? Like what really helped you to succeed when you were younger?
I didn't do like any of the typical like younger pageant pathways that a lot of people take. I didn't model. I didn't dance. I didn't even do sports and stuff. When I was a kid, my whole thing was just like school. That was my thing. So,
Okay.
so I did my classes, got good grades, but I didn't really do too many extracurriculars as a kid.
Are you
Uh,
are you that A student that everyone wished they could be?
I did get a lot of A's.
Okay.
I,
So you
I
are.
was
Okay. There's
good
no
in school.
hey, hey, if you aren't scoring touchdowns or putting hoops in the baskets, you got to get A's,
Yeah.
So 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 you can get a scholarship either way as long as you get a scholarship.
Exactly. And then I actually didn't get into pageants until after I graduated college. I
And what at that point? I mean, that's a very late
Yeah,
installment.
late start.
Right, because most people, were you competing in Ms. at that point?
No, at that point I was still in the Miss
So
category.
you were,
I got a flyer in the mail. I don't even think they still send those out anymore, but I got a flyer in the mail for the Miss Maryland USA pageant. And I didn't really think I was going to do it, but I saw on there that you didn't have to have like a talent portion to compete because I, at the time, didn't really know the difference between Miss USA, Miss America, all that stuff. So I assumed you had to have a talent. And I was like, oh, I'm not doing that. Then I saw that it said no talent portion. So I said, okay, maybe. And actually, in college, I lost a lot of weight, maybe about like 30 or so pounds. And so I was in the mindset of if I could get on stage in a bikini, then I could do anything. So I quietly signed up for the pageant. I didn't tell anyone I was doing it except for my one friend who competed in pageants in college. And I was like, oh, I got this thing in the mail and I'm just going to fill it out. And she's like, okay, good luck.
so
And then
was that a personal, like, I want to make myself feel good about what I've done and make life choices, and I want to take it to the next level? Is it that kind of decision, or is it that you just wanted to try something new?
Yeah, it was really like try something new and kind of spur of the moment. You know how some people are like, oh, I want to run a marathon just to see if I could do it? I wanted to do a pageant essentially to see if I could do it. And then it's funny. So I applied for the pageant online. They asked for like your name and all that stuff. And then I was going to call and I was going to do a phone interview with the pageant, but then I had to go to France for a study abroad program. So then I figured that I would never get the call because this was like before, there was a lot of cool like international phone plans. So I was like, well, I'm going to miss the call and it's not going to happen. And then whatever. And then I ended up having my interview for the pageant in the airport before I took off and left for France. And then they told me that I was in. I said, oh, well, okay, that's cool. And then so I had to email my mom and I was like, so I'm doing this pageant and I need like $200 for my, first round of fees and stuff. And she was like, where did this even come from? But she's a great mom. So she supported me anyway, even though she thought it was weird and random.
Well, supportive parents are so important in our growth in life, and and if it's not a parent, it's someone that is just there to emotionally be there, not even financially. Emotionally is such a so it's nice that you have that person on both sides to really help you there. So
Yeah. My mom actually was not into pageants. I still don't think she really likes them now, but she just knows that I really like them. So she supports, something that I love.
hey, um, as they say, everyone doesn't like chocolate. That's why there's vanilla. So so
Exactly.
yeah, exactly. Everything doesn't float for everyone. So the most important thing is that people find happiness in life in general. So how did
Exactly.
that experience go? Because clearly, you've definitely now continued to do pageants. So it must have been a really positive experience that first time.
Yeah, it's funny because the first time I didn't really know what I was doing, as a lot of first timers tend to not know. And I didn't make the top 15, but I was just so proud of myself for getting up there and doing it. And I just like the energy from the stage and then the whole process in the weekend. And I had so much fun and it felt so empowering just being up there strutting my stuff and then having that moment in the spotlight where you get to showcase all of your hard work. So from that, I caught the bug, and then I haven't stopped competing since. I've done at least probably one pageant a year since then. This will be my first like full calendar year not having competed in something or being signed up to compete in something.
So do you like it that you are challenging yourself and you use that as a measuring stick, or is it just something you're doing for fun?
It's both, definitely. I think I enjoy the process of preparing. So that's fun for me, as weird as it is. It's really cool to like, go in a gym and then start noticing like your muscles pop, or when you have your interview coaching sessions and then you notice improvement on how you answer questions. Even just like seeing your walk, like, for a little bit it was a little shaky. And then after a while, it's like, oh yeah, I can nail this on the first try. So just like seeing the overall improvement and growth is really fun for me. Like I enjoy the process of preparing. And then I also love just, the glamour of it all. I love getting, my hair and makeup done and wearing beautiful gowns and being literally in the spotlight,
No.
even if it's only for 15 seconds.
Do you think that doing pageants have actually positively influenced like what you do in life, and how much money you make, and um, how much confidence you have just in day to day?
Interestingly enough, I recently got a new job, and one of my references for my job was an old professor of mine, but she knew about my work in pageantry. And I didn't know until after I got the job, but my reference ended up telling my current boss about my pageant experience and basically how it had made me a good candidate for the position, and talking about the hard work and the communication skills and how it can transfer over into the job. So it has literally helped me
Okay.
land the job that I have now, as well as, stepping into an interview room. It's much easier after you've been, coached on it.
Yeah, of course. So if you were a young lady and you just wanted to do a pageant, do you think so? You would definitely say that it's going to help you be more successful in just day to day living. Then would you agree with that?
Yes, I think every young woman should do a pageant. Even if it's not something that you think you'll be into, just the different things that you get out of it, whether it's public speaking or just putting yourself out there in front of a group of people, the hard work in the gym, I feel like it'll help you grow in one way or another, even if you tried once and decide that it's not for you. Just the work that goes into competing into a pageant, there's so many wonderful takeaways.
I always it just shocks me because we really do live in a male society, and I mean I'm a guy and I'm willing to admit that we don't give women as much opportunities, and I'm hoping that in my lifetime we can try to give women more opportunities. But you know, if you equate that as a competition, it's exactly the same. A man would go to the gym and work out and prepare to be a baseball player. What's the difference if a woman goes to the gym, prepares, and works on her speaking skills and walking skills to win a pageant? They're virtually the same in my book. So, I mean, and they both make you feel confident and they give you success. So,
Yes, I completely agree, especially the fitness portion. I think it can definitely be the equivalent to an athlete. Like the way you have to go on like a certain meal plan or diet to, get into your swimsuit body. Not that it has to be like a negative diet, but like, when I'm not competing, I'll have, maybe a extra slice of cake or two when when you are competing, you have to like cut that out and have the levels of discipline, and you have to go for like the baked chicken instead of the fried chicken and stuff like that. And it's definitely the same type of training that athletes do to get themselves into peak physical condition.
exactly.
And then on top of that, there's the mental preparation aspect. You have to not only be prepared for like your interview, but just being able to focus on yourself, because when you walk into a pageant, there are tons of gorgeous girls, like bar none. And so you're like, oh crap, she looks great and she looks great. And am I pretty enough? And you have to really like work on your brain and say, yes, she's beautiful, but I'm beautiful too. And yes, she has a great walk, but I've worked on my walk and my walk is great as well. And like try to not really compare yourself or down yourself. So that's another element to it other than just the physical preparation.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you because mindset has a total difference between winning and losing. I mean, everyone that,
100%.
yeah, and everybody that I work with, if you can't imagine you winning the World Series, then you probably won't win it. So if you can't imagine them calling your name and winning the crown and being crowned, you're not mentally ready. You
Mm-hmm.
might be physically ready, but um, holding that title and representing the state, it plays a major role in that. So, have you ever as a state title holder, have you ever had any situation where um, you've noticed people that they had to grow into that situation, and it took a while before they were ready for it?
I haven't known any people personally with that, like necessarily that they weren't ready, but I have seen people kind of develop more confidence throughout the process. I have a friend who held a state title in one of the larger systems,
Mm-hmm.
and I just know through the process of her preparing for the national pageant, it was a lot of like, this person wants me to do this and this person wants me to do that, and I don't know which one I should do, versus looking at like, what are the things that you want to do, and just kind of like knowing yourself and knowing, because it's your journey, and
Mm-hmm.
other people are going to have their opinions, but you're the one who has to be happy with it at the end, because you're going to be mad if you decided to do something that you didn't want to do, while the director or whoever is going to have another title holder in a year that they can try again with.
Yeah, it really when it comes to like that 1 year, you need to put as much effort into that 1 year as possible. So it's more like it's the whole lead up to it that you got to take that whole time preparing as much as being fun too, because after you win it, then it's like now we're at the race.
Yeah,
So
once you win, the work really starts.
yeah, exactly. So that USA experience really rolled you into several different pageants, correct?
Yes.
So what I mean, I don't expect you to go through your entire pageant history, but ha, like how many systems did you go through, and what was that experience like?
I've done a total of 4 pageant systems.
Okay.
I did USA. I was Miss DCS International in
Congratulations.
2014. Thank you. I competed at Miss World America in 2016, or was that 2017?
Now, was that the year
um,
they held the competition in DC?
no, that was the year they held it in Florida, in Orlando, Florida. I think it
Awesome.
might have been 2017. And then I was Mrs. Maryland Earth 2018, which is how I got involved with the Earth USA system now.
Well, clearly in that situation, you also got married too. So,
Yes.
so, it, your current husband, was he dating
hmm
you the entire way along, or did you, like, how did you guys meet? Did you guys meet, like, because somewhere there you got married, you
hmm
met him. So, was that
Well, I
experience?
actually,
Good. I'm sorry.
yeah, I met him before I started competing in pageants. So he's been
Gotcha.
through the entire experience with me, and he's been a trooper through it all. I would see the gym more than I saw him, and I would, drag him to different pageant related events, and he would come. He's been in every single pageant competition that I've been in.
So
Him and
then,
my parents have been in every pageant.
well, yeah, I mean that, like we were saying, that's really important. But to
hmm
have a significant other to be your rock there, and he's bring that makes a huge difference. Do you think that has really allowed you to excel and to continue to do that?
His support has definitely been very helpful. He's been there when I've cried because I lost. He's been there, when I've been happy because I won. He's been there, for all the different ups and downs. And when I'm like feeling insecure, like, oh, I don't know if I look good enough or if this is right or if that is right. He's always been around to encourage me and just be like, it's going to be all right. Because you need someone to kind of talk you off your ledge sometimes. Because in the throes of like preparation, it can get intense. So
Yeah.
he's been great for that.
Well, if it's not your boyfriend, who else are you gonna be able to cry on his shoulder? When you're having a bad day. So, um,
Exactly.
do you
And
do
I've
you
seen a lot of, oh,
go ahead?
sorry.
No, go ahead. I
I was
love
going
your
to say,
insight. Go ahead.
and I've seen a lot of girls who've had significant others while they were competing, but they weren't as supportive, whether if it was like jealousy or they didn't want their girlfriend having the spotlight or if they just didn't want her on stage in a bikini for a different number of reasons. So I think it's also a good way to see how secure your partner is in himself or herself and in your relationship, and just looking and seeing like, is this person willing to let me have some shine and something for myself outside of them.
See, that perfectly rolls into my question. Is it a plus or a negative, or is dating someone while doing a pageant um, difficult or challenging, or like would it be easier for some people to not date and do a pageant? Like, clearly, it sounds to me that it was a benefit for you, but do you think most people should focus on just doing that? Like,
I think it's a benefit if you have a good partner and a negative if you have a bad one.
that's fair enough.
Like, which can sometimes be good for shedding that light on your relationship, because
Mm-hmm.
in any case, whether it's you competing in a pageant, you getting a job promotion, you want someone who's going to be able to support and cheer for you when you're winning, especially the person that you're romantically involved with. So that can kind of let you see that firsthand before you necessarily take things to a more serious level. But just any person who isn't willing to support your dreams, even if it's not something that they understand. Like I said, my mother, she's not really into pageants, but she's always been supportive of my dream because she knows it's something that I love. So if they're supportive of your dream, then that's a good person to have around.
Well, I would say that's probably a really good relationship checker, because you don't want to get married with them and then figure out that you guys aren't a perfect fit. So if
Yeah.
you know, I wouldn't want to say throw a pageant just to prove that your boyfriend is marriage material, but maybe that's a good way of testing him,
Mm-hmm.
without moving in or doing, doing something that that causes you to have to move your life around, So,
Yeah.
all right. So
And I
I'm gonna
have a
no, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. And I have an interesting anecdote. I won't go into too much detail about the pageant because these people don't know that I know this, but I went to two national pageants 2 years back to back. Both years, I saw the winners' boyfriends after the pageant was over. One boyfriend was over the moon for his girlfriend winning the pageant, and then they're married. The other boyfriend was clearly like upset that his girlfriend won the pageant, and they're no longer together.
See, to me, maybe I'm just because I love photography and I adore women. I would be the one be like so happy that I have someone that I can gloat upon and to show like how special she is. That
Mm-hmm.
like to me that's such a positive. I wouldn't take that as a negative anyway. Like anytime that you know, I think we're on this earth very short, but any time that she would go away would be, you know, I think that sometimes we think too short, but any time that she would spend with someone else, she would people are very, if you're in a relationship, she's going to pay it back and forward. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that people
Exactly.
see that, like, especially if the person really loves you.
Yeah.
But see, hindsight's 2020, and you know, you understand it. You're a married woman, so you understand. You've gone through this, so But you can only, as they say, you can only bring a horse to water. You can't make the horse drink water. So if they never understand,
Exactly.
if they never understand it, it's just hard. So I just wanted to take 1 second from this great interview and talk about our sponsor of the week, Midatlantic Video and Photography Productions. No matter if you're planning a wedding, a special event, or you just need an amazing headshot, they are the team to get the job done. You can reach out to them at 443-422-3830. Again, that's 443-422-3830. Or you can go right to their website at mavpp.com. Now let's get right back to the show and listen to this great interview. After competing in all the MSS, the Ms.,
Hmm.
what's it like to compete as an MRS pageant? Is it just completely different? As a photographer, I find that the MRS, the married pageant contestants, are just way more with it when it comes to being
Hmm.
professional, and like they feel like like anything they get is such like a blessing. Like maybe it's because there's not as many sponsors, um,
Hmm.
but what do you feel as a contestant? How did your year go, and how did your experience go?
So it's funny because before I got married and did a Mrs. Pageant, I always heard that Mrs. Pageants are crazy and those women are nuts and you don't want to do one. So when I signed up for my for Mrs. Maryland Earth, I was a little skeptical, but I wanted to do it because I just had that pageant bug and it seemed like a really cool system. And I knew that everyone who had ever worked with Laura, that's the national director of Earth USA organization, they've always loved her. So I said, I'll give it a try. And then when I got to the national pageant, everyone was so nice. And it was honestly much more relaxed than a lot of my Miss pageant experiences. I guess because maybe at the Mrs. level, you just have like a lot of other things going on. And it's like, winning this pageant would be really cool. But then I have XYZ other things going on. So if it doesn't happen, then I'm fine. Versus at the Miss level, sometimes it can be like, this is everything that my life is focused on right now is this pageant. So if I don't win, I don't know what's going to happen to me. So there's a lot more tension sometimes versus Mrs. I think is kind of like, we're just all here to have a good time and enjoy ourselves and strut our stuff on stage and make friends. So I actually really love the Mrs. experience.
I mean, that's what I've heard. I mean, there's always a bad apple in any seed, but I've always heard so many of my married contestant friends just rave about how they feel like they feel so beautiful and they feel so special, um, and they take care of them so much. So
And I think, for like Miss America or Miss USA or Miss Earth USA, like you can, it can be like a job almost. It's like I'm really fighting for this job versus Mrs. Like, of course, being a title holder is a job and there are expectations of you, but there are frequently fewer expectations of the Mrs. title holders, just like time wise, because a lot of Mrs. contestants still have children or, they have a husband and work and all that stuff going on. So it's just like a little less on the line, just a little bit more fun and lighthearted.
is that what makes it more appealing, that um, that it's not like in your face, so more stressful? Like it you actually get to compete with someone more on equal footing. Is that, or is it that it's more that you have different age bracket because the MRS bracket is such a wide married bracket? Correct? It's like, is it like 20 to 60? Is that what the?
Yeah, that's usually the range. So it's a pretty wide age range, but I haven't run into like that much differences, between the age ranges, even though we have like slightly different experiences, obviously, like whether or not you've had a child yet, or whether you work at home, or whether you go into the office every day. But overall, I think it's just been, the common unity of just like, hey, we're just here to have a great time. Like Mrs. Pageants, I really do them because I just love pageants and find them to be fun. Like I'm kind of bummed. The one downside of being the director now is that I can't compete for Mrs. USA Earth anymore.
Well, it'd be kind of a conflict of interest, just a little bit.
Yeah.
So, judges, you know who you should pick, right? So, um, well, I mean, um, do you see yourself in several years um wanting to be the national director, or do you eventually see yourself buying another pageant system, or what's your goal? Or do you think that you want to do this for several years and maybe can compete again?
Well, I don't think Laura's giving up her job anytime soon, so I don't know how the
Sure.
national thing is going to go. But so far, I'm really enjoying it. I'm maybe about a few months into my directorship. I just gained directorship of Maryland, Delaware, and Midatlantic for the Earth USA system in the late summer. And it really got going with recruiting and stuff, September, October. But I've really been enjoying it so far. And honestly, I would love to do this as my full time job because pageants are something that I truly I love and enjoy them. And I love, communicating with the contestants and just answering their questions and planning all of the stuff for, the contestants and the winners. One thing that's great doing being a director as a former competitor is that I know what competitors would like to have, as they're preparing for a pageant. So I'm trying, my best to get them, prizes that will help the winners at the national level. Like Miss Maryland Earth USA gets a free gown by Katya Avdiv as a part of her prize package. My winners in Maryland get a excuse me, they get preparation from Total Package Pageant Prep to make sure that they're ready to go for, the national pageant. I have some other sponsorships that are in the works. I don't know if we want to talk about them yet or not, but
Oh yes. I I guess we might as well make it official. So I will be working with your three districts or what do they call? They call them districts or states because
Um,
one is a region. So
one is a region. Yeah,
yeah.
we just kind of call them all states, but yeah,
Okay.
one is a region.
So I'll be working with all three states for photography. So really excited to be on board and working with you guys. So
And so excited to have you.
yeah,
And so things like that, just being able to, I need a good headshot. Where do I go? I want to make sure that's taken care of. I need a coach. Where do I go? I want to make sure that's taken care of. I need a gown. Where do I go? I want to make sure that's taken care of. So they can just really focus on, being their best self and not stressing about like, oh, I don't know. I don't know where to get this. I don't know where to get that. I want to make it as simple as possible so they can really just focus on them and have a great time.
now that you've competed so much, do you think that it was the other the other systems weren't preparing you the first time enough, like giving you just some ideas on who to reach out to, or do you think that was doing, but you didn't take advantage of it?
I would say it's a combination of both. I think almost every pageant has like a list of people that they send to you saying like if you need help with XYZ, then you can meet
Gotcha.
with these people. But one thing I've noticed is that for pageant preparations, your team is kind of like building your family almost. Like
Hmm.
I went through, for coaches, I tried a few different coaches before I found some that I just really connected with. Like I remember when I first started competing, I told you I didn't make top 15. And then I went to a coach. She actually reached out to me about meeting up. And so we met up. And then I said, well, next year I want to win. And then she said, oh, we can't, have you ready to win by next year. And I was like, well, then what would I be paying you for? Like, so just like something like that, like off the break, I was like, I need a coach who believes in my ability to,
Exactly.
win the title. So, just trying out different
You know, the best way
options.
the best way I think of a pageant coach is like a therapist, because
Yeah.
they listen to you, they consult you, and then they give you harsh criticism that they want to help you succeed. So,
Mhm.
you know, each therapist is not necessarily best for every single person, but
Mhm. Exactly.
you know, so the most important thing is to find the person that works best with your skills, and that and clearly you did, because you already have a state title, which is you know that's a achievement right there. It shows that you can, as a director, you can show people how to get to the next level. So my personal criticism with anyone who's a director is that you are judged on your winning percentage. So um,
Mhm.
the goal is for your group of talent to go on and win nationals, or to be in the top 5 or top 3. So
Yes.
I know that's harsh, but it is a competition. I mean, I look at it as a
Mhm.
so, and if it's a competition, the goal is to win, not to just compete. So,
Yeah.
is that your mindset? Is that how you like to approach it? Or are you more subtle? Are you more like more soft hands kind of approach?
Well, as a director now, I see that there's like two main things that you want to figure out how to do. One, you want the contestants at your state pageant to have a great experience because only one is going to win the title. So they still need to have a good time. So one is like figuring out the way to make sure that everyone who signs up for your pageant has an enjoyable experience. And then the next one is making sure that your title holder is best equipped as possible to succeed at the national level. So I've been working, to get things done on both ends.
No,
And I think that's like the key job. Of course, like I want, my title holders to win all the national titles.
no, yeah.
But I will definitely, you know, I
That
plan on
that puts
doing my
little that
best.
put yeah, well, that puts a little personal shine on you. Be like, yeah, you know, just try. I mean, I have to say, the most recent director who really just shocked everyone was the director who took over DC USA, and she had
Mhm.
two uh, national title winners, and then she had the third one in top. I believe it was in the top 10, or was it? Yeah, it was, or
Mhm.
top 5. I mean, and then I believe that she has sold to Virginia. So, I mean
Yeah.
that's a hey. If that's the only on her resume, that's a pretty good resume. So,
Yeah.
that's pretty good. I mean, I would say that that's a good winning percentage.
Definitely.
You know. I mean, I don't mean to be cruel about it, but it is, like I was saying, we play to win the game, so.
Yeah. And I think contestants feel like they're in good hands when the director has you know, previous successes as
Yeah,
well.
I know that's it. And also, it's like that personal pride thing. Like I'm a big Maryland person. So, I personally want Maryland to any of the
Mhm.
Maryland pageants. I mean, there's like 20 or 30. I want Maryland to succeed and do well. I mean, why would I personally root against my own state? That doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense. Like it, I want my state to do well, but we definitely need to like give our state contestants the best opportunity. So that's you
Mhm.
know that that's why I hope that each girl that has the Maryland title is fully prepared to win that national title. So, and I'm
Yeah.
thankful that we have a director that is you have that experience, so you can really draw upon that, which is so important. So, I mean, to be perfectly honest, I don't know how you can be a director and not have gone to a national pageant. So, and won that title and won that local and won that national. So, and won that state title. So, you can really tell them how that really. I mean, that is that what your is that what your mindset was, that like I've already done this, it should be easy for me to show people how to do it.
Um, I wouldn't say that I would thought it was necessarily easy, but I definitely thought I would be capable because just I've done so many pageants and I've watched even more than I've competed in, and I've just been able to see the different things as well as like making notes of like from system to system what each one likes, and then so I've seen enough of the Earth USA system from one competing in it, and then two I've watched a number of years as well to know what this system is looking for and be able to best steer the girls in that direction for success.
I just wanted to take one extra second and talk about our sponsor of the week, Midatlantic Video and Photography Production. No matter if you're planning a wedding and you need a wedding videographer, you're doing a music video, or you're doing a commercial, they are the team to get the job done. You can reach out to them at 443 422 3830. Again, that's 443 422 3830. Or you can go right to their website at mavpp.com. Now let's get right back to this great interview. This is the part of the show where I let you take over the show and talk about anything that's upcoming. And of course, the biggest thing that's upcoming for you is recruitment for your
Mm-hmm.
new states. So please, why don't you give us a really strong feedback on what makes the Earth system so important and why girls should sign up for them? Sign up for it.
All right. Well, one thing that makes the Earth system so important, especially like in this current time, is we really focus on the environment. That is the purpose of the Earth system, was to use the attention that comes with a beauty pageant and help a greater cause. So our cause is the environment. Every title holder participates in, making the Earth a better place, whether it's a ocean cleanup, a street cleanup, planting trees, a number of things. People have gotten really creative, but we really focus on making the environment a better place. And with climate change and all that's going on, it goes from super hot to freezing cold in a day's time. There are a lot of like natural disasters. This is really the time to focus on the climate and the earth. And so to be a part of an organization that recognizes that is really empowering. Um, And so
So,
our pad, oh,
oh
sorry.
no, no. So I just had I want to question on that. So if someone has in other systems you have a platform, does your platform have to encompass something that is Earth component, or can it be outside Earth, or does it have does all the are we is everyone in the pageant focusing on that specifically only?
Not only, we do all focus on environmental ownership in some way, shape, or form, and you can choose which form that takes a part in for you. However, if you have other things that you're passionate about, you're by no means, shunned from doing that. If you care about, military families or mental health or, children's hospitals or whatever it is that you're passionate about, you can definitely bring that with you to the Earth USA system. We're not limited in the ways that we give back. We're not going to tell people, no, you can't do that, that, community service. We welcome all of it. But we do just want to make sure that our title holders know just how important the environmental aspect is. But you're definitely welcome to have more to it than that.
Well, that's awesome. Does do you guys do volunteering like as an effort as a group? Like how does that work?
At the national pageants, there's always some big effort to do some sort of environmental activity that can vary from year to year. A lot of times we do cleanups, like clean the streets in the local area just to make sure that the ground is clean. When I was Mrs. Maryland Earth, I planted trees as it's a part of like clean water. I learned that planting trees is one of the most effective ways for keeping our streams clean. I didn't even know that, so I learned something new participating. And every contestant has to complete an environmental activity as a part of her scoring. So that's to really make sure that like we're not just talking about it, but we're also being about it.
So, for the state level that you represent the three states, Maryland, Delaware, and the Mid-Atlantic.
Yes.
What's the age bracket? Are you looking just for teens? Are you looking for Ms? Are you looking for MRS? Like what's the
Yes, we're
bracket?
looking across the gamut. So we have four divisions. The first one is teen, and that starts at 13 through 18, and so that's pretty self-explanatory. And then we have our Miss contestants. It goes from 21 to 27 or 28. um,
It sounds like a
we
great lot of
recently,
opportunities, right? You know, it's more than
yeah, we recently changed it. And then we also have elite, which that goes from 21 to 59. And that is for women who aren't married but don't fit into the Miss category because they've either had a child or they've been divorced or they've aged out of Miss. So that gives an opportunity to some women who may not have opportunities in other pageant systems. And then we have Mrs., which is for married women.
of course. I love the elite name. It's different. You could call it so many things. You could call it MS, but MS
Yeah.
sounds. But I like elite. Elite sounds.
Yeah, I like elite a lot too. It
Yeah.
sounds cool.
And then it also causes people to ask questions. So what's an elite title? You know, and it's always good to make
hmm
people ask a question. You know, the more times you can get
Exactly.
someone to come up and ask a question about, your product or service is a that's a good thing. You know.
Exactly.
So are you doing three individual pageants? Are you doing one massive pageant? What's your thought or plan for this year?
The competitions will be held together, but each category and state will be judged separately. The events will be held March 21st, 2020, in Bowie, Maryland, at the Bowie Center for Performing Arts. As a part of your entry fee, each contestant gets a cocktail dress made by Katya Abdiv. So that is a really great thing that we're glad to be able to offer the contestants, as well as a discount on a custom made swimsuit from Kimberly Pixton Miller. So that's very exciting too. And
Well, that's
yeah, just
awesome
going to
that
be,
you're in the registration fee that you're getting a a dress included. That's something that's not normal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice gift. So
Yeah, so I wanted to be able to, because that way everyone can walk away with something, and something useful. Who doesn't need a cocktail dress? So
yeah, of
that's
course.
something we've been very excited
Well,
to
the other thing is
offer the contestants.
no, I think it's great. Also, the other big thing is that when you're doing your dance performance, I'm assuming you do a dance, opening performance, that they
We'll
all
do an
look
opening introduction, but
opening it right.
I don't know if it'll be a
And then,
dance.
okay, but they all look that they all are unified in some sense. So there's
Hmm.
not. So that's always really nice. So it to me is because I'm just very visual. It's always very if someone has like everyone else has a basically very simple black dress, and then someone else has just one off color black, and that person
Hmm.
sticks out. So I think that's smart for you that one you're giving them a gift, but then they all look nice and perfect just the way you want it, like it was a painting. So that's
Yes.
yep. It really accomplishes those two stones with one throw.
Hmm.
So how is the actual performance? So you you kind of mentioned there is a bikini portion because there's a bikini discount. So there's a
Yes.
bikini. What else?
Well,
What else?
it's swimsuit. You can choose
Swimsuit.
one piece or bikini.
Okay, awesome. Oh, so that is okay. That's another good thing to point. So there is no specific. You can do a one piece or a two piece. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can do whichever one you feel more comfortable
That's
in.
awesome.
There's 5 equally scored categories. They are swimsuit, interview, evening gown, environmental activity, and this one you'll appreciate, photogenic.
Okay, awesome.
so, so the first 3 are the traditional pageant categories. The swimsuit, you go on stage, strut your stuff, get scored for that based on your health and fitness and confidence. Evening gown based on your poise, confidence, sense of style. And interview, that's of course the judges opportunity to get to know you and for you to really advocate why you should be the next title holder. Photogenic is also judged by the judges, and then the winner of that, those are scored accordingly as well for 25%, or sorry, 20%. And then the environmental activities, what makes us us. And then so every contestant has to participate in an environmental activity of her choosing prior to the pageant. And then she just has to be able to show and explain what she did for that activity.
What's the um is the environmental, is that the biggest piece of the if they is that the one that means the most, or does something else weigh more on the score? Are they even? Are they is everything even?
They're all equally
They are
scored.
equal scored. So that's
Yes,
good
each
because
20%.
so that
Mm-hmm.
so that means that no, not necessarily one category will overwhelm. So you really do need to do
Have to be
well.
well rounded.
Yeah, well, yeah. So you can technically only mess up in one category and still score well, but that would probably be not a good thing. You'd probably want to score at least decent in all 6 categories then.
Yeah, ideally you do well, in each one. You don't have to win each category, but the person who's consistent across the board will be the person who will likely take home the crown.
Well, I mean that kind of makes more sense than how America, where it's talent is such a stronger um, voting block. So um, that it's to me it sounds like your pageant is more fair because it's really based on the overall person than just one factor in the entire pageant.
Yeah, the one thing I really liked about the Earth USA organization is that it really is like it's straight to the point. There's no like real questions of how this person won or how that happened. Everything is above the board. And like if you watch their pageants, pretty much the winner that you see, you understand how they won.
Hey, and trust me, with if you seen enough pageants, some people there's always a question, especially if 3 or 4 people. So it's good that that's completely wiped away, and there's no question on who should really win. I mean, if the person that is working the hardest is winning, then and getting the highest score, and she's winning, then that's the most important thing. So,
Mhm.
so is there anything else that a prospective candidate should know about, like how should they sign up?
Yes,
Is there
you
anything they should prepare for?
you can sign up at missearthusa.com, and that is for all divisions. You can fill out the form on that website, and it'll get sent out accordingly. And if you have any questions, you can email me, Chelsea, CHELSEA, at missearthusa.com, and I'll be happy to answer any of your inquiries. And just as far as preparation goes and getting ready for it, just really, outside of the regular pageant preparations of getting your swimsuit body together and getting your evening gown together and all that stuff, just really be sure to consider the environmental portion of it and what you would like to do as Miss Earth USA or Mrs. USA Earth or Elite Miss Earth USA or Team Miss Earth USA. Because ideally, we would get all 4 titles, and just be ready to really be a role model in that capacity. Oh, and one of the most important things that I neglected to mention is that each national title holder gets to compete at the international level. So not just Miss Earth USA who goes to Miss Earth, but the Mrs., the Elite, and the Teen all go into international competitions as well.
Well, that's a big difference because even America only has one level above the state level, so that's really cool. And then most of them only have one level above. So for you to be able to go to the national level and then the world level, that's really cool.
Yeah, and USA has done really well on the international level too. Our most recent Miss Earth USA, Imani Davis, she was crowned Miss Earth Air, which is essentially first runner up. But at the Earth pageant, the top 5 all get elemental titles. So she is like right under Miss Earth. The current Mrs. Earth was Mrs. USA Earth, Brandy Ibso Jarvis. So, we're doing really well on the international level too.
So yeah, that's one thing that I always thought was cool. So they used the title, they used the Earth, Wind, Fire, right? In this, or is it wind?
It's air,
It's air,
fire,
fire.
water. Yeah.
Okay, and that's signifying first, second, third, right? Or second, third, fourth.
Yeah.
Which in pageant speak is first runner up, second runner up, third runner up.
Yes, and the elemental winners, they get crowns, and at the state
That's
at the
cool.
national level, we have elemental winners as well, and you get
Oh, you okay? So
crowns.
okay, so that's cool. So at state level, you have that too. Oh, that's cool.
Well, at national level, I'm sorry,
Right now,
national level, and then international. Yeah.
right. Um, so basically, there's like 4 opportunities for each of your title holders to compete for and win. The goal is to win the grand prize, but there's 3 other categories where they can come back. So would you still be there? No, go ahead. Go
ahead. Since Imani won Miss Earth Air, the first runner-up at the national pageant is now Miss Earth USA, and this is the second time that's happened in like the last few years too. So you never know when you'll get to advance to the next level.
Oh yeah, I mean that's why they say if
winner cannot fulfill her
duties, you get right exactly. If they win one of the air, fire titles,
the elemental title,
would you still be their director, or does that fall under the national director at that time?
They would technically be national title holders at that time, but I would still work with them, especially for stuff going on in the area.
So you don't necessarily...
It would be like a partnership.
Right. So you don't necessarily lose them.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. So, So it's kind of like, you get to see them succeed, but then they still get to work with you a little bit. So
Exactly.
that's awesome. Well, we really thank you for coming on the show, talking about your experiences and why you should do a pageant. And I really thankful for you to talk about your new exciting job coming up, and we really appreciate your time coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed it. I loved talking pageants. So,
Well, clearly I do too, and I love helping people. Taking things to the next level and helping people just doing what they want to do and being helpful. So I hope you've only the best, and I'm so thankful to be working with you this year.
Thank you. I'm excited to be working with you too.
Thank you so much, Chelsea. It is always incredible to have the state director come on and talk about their experience and explain why they are so passionate about their system. We really appreciate your time, and we really appreciate all the really great insight and see why you're a great candidate and choice to be the state director. And we hope you only the success. And we are really excited to be your pageant headshot photographer for this coming year. And we are really excited to be working with you. For all of our listeners, I hope you guys have a phenomenal holiday season. This will be our final episode for 2019. I wish you guys all the best. Please be safe. Do not drink and drive. Please have great holiday parties. Spend time with friends and family. And please stay tuned to next year. We'll be back after New Year's with new episodes, new insights, more things to listen to, more people to inspire you to win a pageant, be an actor, be the best athlete possible. I have some great people on board to do interviews, and I'm really excited to have a nice, large variety of new people for us to hear from and get inspired by. As a reminder, we are also doing a movie review show. So while we have the opportunity with our co-hosts, we're going to be shooting those episodes sporadic. So when we have opportunities, we're going to put some up. I have 2 in the can, and I will be putting up a couple in this break. I hope you guys really enjoy those, and I'm excited for this upcoming year, and I'm so thankful for all of my listeners who have been really listening to the show the entire year, and this journey is only the beginning. Do not forget to subscribe on Instagram, YouTube. Please give us some comments. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs down. We appreciate the feedback so much. And remember, as always, stay tuned.